Good morning, friends. You know, addiction affects every age, every gender, every race. It can destroy lives and families, but there is always hope. And Greg Hanley, Alex Rahiji, and Daniel Baldwin with Soba Recovery are back. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
You're looking good, feeling good today.
Yeah.
You should be, because Greg, we got to start off with the book. So it's his autobiography. It's The Forgotten Ones, and we talked a little bit about it last month when you were here, but I've started reading it. I ordered my own on Amazon. I didn't ask Greg for a free copy. I went and got my own. It's wonderful, Greg, and like I said, I've only gotten through a little bit, but it really does give us a look into your life and as a little boy and the things that formed you. Why did you decide to write it?
I tell stories a lot, and when you have stories of tigers at your ranch and
I haven't gotten to that
things
yet.
that happened, and I had Warren Jeffs, the polygamist, move in, and different stories that I tell people said you ought to write a book.
Yeah.
So, you know, just getting them down on paper, it was kind of fun. Well, actually, it wasn't all that fun. There was there's some pretty dark moments in there, but it's kind of a redemption book, you know, what you go through to get to where you're at.
Was it hard to go there? Because I would imagine that a lot of, you said you know there were some dark moments and some things that were hard to remember. Were there things that maybe you try to forget about, that you push back, that you had to really bring back in order to make this happen?
Sure. You know, you have things that you carry around, and it was kind of got them out finally.
So it felt good.
Sort of. It's weird.
He's being very modest.
He's always very modest.
He does this all the time.
Yeah. You've read it. You both have read it.
The fact of the matter is, I asked him, because I know, living a life of addiction in the public eye, that when you've worked through a program and you've put some of those skeletons away now, to write a book, you relive them. You sit there, you know, and you write down these things, and you feel them again. And I asked him directly. I said, "Why are you writing the book?" He goes, "I think it could help people." And so he won't say that, but that's the fact of the matter. For him to have to go through it, he's going to be asked questions. Lots of people are reading it going, "Wow!" Everyone that's read it says, "What a great book and amazing." But the bottom line is, he went through the pain of writing the book because he thought he could help other people out there when they read it, that they're not alone. You know, they're not the forgotten ones.
And everything you do, I have learned over the last few years, is always to help other people. It truly is, Greg. And I love that you've written this book. What were some of your favorite moments? Not the dark moments, but what are some good memories? Because there are some memories about your childhood that they made me giggle a little bit, because I know you. You know, the fact that you were finding ways to make money at, you know, age 8 by selling stickers, and it's just...
You know, I was always doing something.
You were a little boss.
when you have 8 kids in your family, and a military family, you don't have a lot of money. So, you know, I figured out a way to sell things. And I would, being a little kid selling door to door, sometimes I would pick pomegranates off somebody's tree and then sell them to them
Sell it
at
to
their
those
door.
people.
But probably... you know, some of the interesting parts were in Las Vegas at the ranch. You know, having things that happened out there they were kind of fun. They were a lot of fun until they got dark. Yeah. And you know, it's people who have read it usually read the whole thing. It's a very easy read, and I've gotten comments from every different type of person that has read it, and they all find different things in the book to relate to.
Right.
So it's created a lot of nice, interesting conversations.
Even though it was so hard, you know, to go there and to have to remember these things, did you find it therapeutic at all? Getting it all out in one
I think so.
book?
I think. We were supposed to do it in 2 months, and it took 1.5 years because there was just some places I didn't want to go. You know, there's, and he would call and go, "Man, I need you to do this," and I would do it a little bit at a time till finally we just got it done.
Yeah. And the rest is history. So
Yeah.
people can get it anywhere. I mean, you can go to Amazon, you can get it
yeah.
online.
Yeah, there's digital copies you can do a download, or you can order the actual book.
And we're going to have everyone send in here so you can sign them, okay?
Yeah, of course.
He would. That's the thing. Greg would take the time to actually do that.
So everybody's seen the movie Home Alone?
Yeah.
You know, where he gets, Macaulay Culkin
Yeah.
gets left at home? It's a spin-off from Greg's story on chapter 1, just so you know.
Pretty much. That's what it is. All right. Well, Greg, congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
reading it and I'm loving it. And I'm just picturing a little Greg. And it's adorable.
He's right on the cover.
He is. I
Look at
know.
him.
He's so
He was
cute.
dapper back
Look at that
then.
face. That's what I told him. He's always been a sharp dresser. Always. Little boss, now he's a big boss. But all right, everyone, stick around. We're going to talk more with these handsome guys after the break. I need you to sign my copy. I need to bring it. And thank you for sticking around. We are back with Soba Recovery, and we were just talking about Greg's new book, The Forgotten Ones. It's his autobiography that you can get anywhere that books are sold or on Amazon. But he also has a publication called Recovery Today, and I believe we have the latest issue, which features Alonzo Bodden, right? Comedian. And in it, you talk about the holidays a bit and just the fact that, as you said earlier, the holidays are challenging for anyone, whether or not you're in recovery. But it's especially hard if you are in recovery. And for those of us who have never been, what makes it harder?
You know, a couple of things. People who are new in recovery don't realize that there's some wreckage sometimes, and people that could be angry with them, and people who have been around for a while. Well, especially new ones, you expect everything to be different because you are, and it can be the same. And those challenging situations that can come up with families can be especially challenging to you. So,
If you're edgy or you're feeling...
yeah, I always have an exit plan, and I plan to stay for a short period of time, and then I can always extend it. It's a lot easier to extend a time than to
Have to
bounce
stretch it out.
early.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just something you think about.
Well, I found in my recovery that the two dynamics that were most prevalent in the holidays were free time. You have a lot more free time.
You're not at work.
If you're an addict or an alcoholic, you really need structure, particularly early on in your recovery.
You've said this before.
So when you're in that situation, and Greg brings up the most important dynamic, which is the damage of your addiction can be. It looks like the branches of a tree. There's your family, your spouse, your children, your employers, your coworkers,
They're
your neighbors. You know, but it goes out like this. But the core of it is your family. Those are the ones that you screwed up the most, for sure.
And that
so
still
when you're
love you.
well, you're now in recovery, and what the person they know in that first year is the idiot for the last 20 years. So you walk in, and as an addict, you walk in going, "Hey, look how great I'm doing!
feeling good."
Don't you want to acknowledge that, Mom?" And she's hiding her jewelry. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, she's like,
It's all they've known.
well, that's it. So
Yeah.
you know, it takes years to really, and that as an addict, you want it yesterday. So you walk in, and I know I would walk in and go like, "Don't I look good? What's the matter with you?"
What's wrong
You know?
with y'all?
Well, and sometimes people are a little uncomfortable around you.
Yeah.
They don't
You
know how to be.
Yeah, they don't know if they should drink, or
Right.
you know,
That's
people
true.
constantly go, "Is it all right for me to have a drink
yeah,
in front of you?"
and
And I go,
I've
"It's
thought
not
that
all right for
before.
you not to."
Yeah, so honestly, I've always thought, well, that's rude. That's like, disrespectful to be drinking in front of someone who's in recovery. But you say, absolutely not.
No.
Just live your life.
Yeah, live your life completely. And, you know, it makes people who ask that, I always say, yeah, drink away. Matter of fact, I'm a designated driver
Right,
if need
right.
be. You know,
Yeah.
you got one on hand.
Yeah.
But that exit plan's a really important idea, because when you do see the one uncle at Christmas dinner who's now schnockered and you're uncomfortable with that, get in your car and go.
Yeah.
You know, leave. Whatever, it protects your sobriety.
That makes sense. Also, there were 3 things that were listed in an article, some tips for handling family drama, drinking, holiday stress, and they say stress relief, so you don't have to say yes to every single event. It's okay to not be able to go to
Yeah.
all of them. And then have day events as opposed to the evening
Night
events
events.
where there's more partying and drinking. And then to start your own traditions, so avoid all the stress that maybe you were dealing with before and maybe do things differently.
Yeah, we
Obviously,
have,
you like those tips. They were in your publication.
Yeah.
He's like, yep, that's them.
well, you know, we have events around holidays that are sober events too. And, You can always find sober events, like locally, they have a 24-hour around New Year's and Christmas where you can go to meetings, like 12-step meetings.
That's
all day
great.
long, all night long. So if it gets a little tricky, you have a place to go. You know, and there's some times where it's not up to you what's going to happen at a dinner table and how it's going to go, but how you handle it afterwards is what it's going to be. And a lot of people who are new in recovery or are really in recovery in general, they internalize emotionally a lot of things. And so if you have not only an exit plan, but a place to go and talk about it, then it's always going to be helpful. I had a lot of meetings around this time of the year.
I'm glad that they're there and they're available, though.
Yeah.
That's wonderful for people to know. One more thing. There was a story. It was actually an article that came out, and I was just talking to you about it, Alex, during the break, and it's out of Detroit. They're saying that teenage drug use is down at its lowest point since the 1990s, and you say about that.
That is the most ridiculous, untrue article. I mean, you can Google anything and say, yeah, Alex is 8 feet tall. It's not true.
But wait, it says great news.
Oh, great news.
Great news.
Yeah.
That's right.
Since,
It's
yeah,
great
the
news.
lowest teen use since 1990, and not just drug use, but alcohol use.
Right,
That
all
is the
of it.
most incorrect. It's like you need to do one of those fact checks. You know, anybody can start San Antonio localnews.com. That's me, and I write whatever I want to write.
Next to that article, they have an article that came out that says that heroin deaths beat gun deaths this year.
Last year, right next to it. Yeah, like 200 more deaths by opiates than all of gun deaths in the United States.
Yeah, it's a hard time thinking that it's slowed down.
Yeah.
We haven't
Yeah.
seen it slow down even a notch.
You know
That's
why?
good to know. That's-
You know why
Yeah.
the percentage may indeed be down? Because that many people died of it last year.
That's
There's less
awful.
people in the country.
It's just awful. All right, guys. Well, stick around because we have so many viewer questions I want to get to. So many people have written in, and they will answer these questions. And if you have any questions, you can, again, ask them on our daytime page, and we'll try to get to those before the end of the hour. So stick around. We'll be right back. And welcome back. We are joined by Greg Hanley, Alex Rahiji, and Daniel Baldwin with Soba Recovery, and we want to get to your questions. We get so many questions for you guys. I wish we had more time, but we'll just get started here. This one has to do with gateway drugs. And the question is, do you think college students who use gateway drugs like pills and marijuana are more likely to get into hardcore drugs in search of a new experience? And Greg, I know that you have a lot of thoughts on the whole gateway drug
Well,
idea.
the gateway drug is actually nicotine,
Nicotine.
which is, people don't know, but with college kids, if you're going to use pills consistently, you're going to get addicted, period. And it doesn't matter whether it's Adderall, it doesn't matter whether it's Klonopin, opioids, for sure you're going to. And it's kind of without, I hate to see it because people don't know this is coming. But it gets so easy to take a pill to deal with, you know, I need to stay up late to study.
Yeah.
And then I overdid it, so I need something to go to sleep. And I hurt my knee at football or whatever it is. The college programs that we have college recovery in New Jersey that is by Rutgers University. And, you know, all the kids start, I mean, weed is pretty predominant. But when they start adding things to that, that's when they don't notice, and then all of a sudden they have a problem.
It's scary. It's scary. So here is another one we get this question a lot. How can you approach an addict about their problem without being attacked? That's probably the most popular question we get is, how do I talk to someone? How do I approach someone? What's the best way to talk
First
to
off,
them?
it depends who you're talking to. I mean, if I had a booger or my zipper is down, you would tell me,
Right.
right?
Oh, yeah, of
I
course.
wouldn't attack you.
Right.
So, but it depends on who's saying it to me and how you say it. So if you
You
start a
wish someone
conversation,
that you know loves you is talking
you
to
start
you.
a conversation without shaming or, you know, being angry.
Yeah.
But how do you start the conversation?
Well,
I mean, a lot of people don't even know how to
The
start.
first thing I ever say is, I'm worried about you. People are worried about you. And, you know, when you're worried about somebody, and the thing is this, understand that the addict or the alcoholic no matter what they have done, they're sick. They're not bad. So it's kind of like talking to a diabetic about their diabetes, or what you treat this the same as when you're dealing with anybody who has a chronic, possible fatal illness. And I always start out with people who are worried about you. That's why we're here. And we can come out, I do a lot of, I guess you could call them interventions, but I do them at the treatment center, where if somebody has somebody they're worried about and they want somebody to talk to them, they can come out and we'll sit down, and you know, if you think something's going on, something's going on.
And that's what Daniel always says too. If it's someone you love, like a child, or you know, someone in your family, even if something feels off, it's off.
Mom's intuition.
And when people pose up because they are, you know, when you talk about it, it's because they're scared. And they get scared of trying to figure out how to live life without whatever they're doing, and they don't understand the process that you can go through to get it out of your life and be able to have a good life. And usually it's fear-based, and there's nothing to be scared of. Here's the thing too, it's better to speak up and have somebody be mad at you than not have spoke up and lose somebody. Well, you know, I would rather have somebody be mad that I said something than have to live with myself with regret that I didn't.
Like, I love you enough to let you hate me, if it means that you're going to keep you alive.
By the time you're getting to, I've noticed something's wrong, and you have to have this conversation, everybody knows. The addict knows. The addict knows you know that you're. I mean, this goes on. It takes months. It's like that moment when the plane starts shaking. You know what I mean? And you look at the person next to you. You haven't talked to your whole life, but you don't want to say, you know, that was a really bad shake, wasn't it? You know?
We all know.
But you say it when it happens the third time. You don't go, the plane is shaking. You know. You just started with the conversation that these two men say every time. Hey, I'm worried, and you know, it would be like anything else, you know, in life that you would say to somebody. You know, you don't. The big thing about it that's come out of this is the shaming part. I know you're angry, and I know you're disappointed, but if you go after the person and then they had cancer, you wouldn't yell at them.
Of course.
And they have cancer. There's something wrong. It's a disease.
They're sick.
Well, and so when you go to treatment, you get the disease in remission. That's what's happening. The other thing you think about is people who have tried to get into recovery and relapsed. Well, the disease came out of remission. So you don't give up. If somebody's cancer comes back, you don't go, well, I guess you're dead. You go, let's go get some more treatment. Let's figure out what we can do to save your life. And what it comes down to is saving lives of your loved ones. And like you said, it's so much better to say something and deal with whatever comes than it is to keep quiet and just live. You're in post-traumatic stress. When I have parents that call me up, they don't have anybody to talk to, and I'll get on the phone with them and go, what's going on? And it just spews out. And the greatest thing is being able to say to them, I can help with this. Because our job isn't just for the addict or the alcoholic, it's for the family. It's to give them some peace of mind. And when you have your loved one on safe ground, then, you know,
you can breathe again.
Yeah, it's like, finally.
I can breathe. All right, well, you guys are sticking around. We'll try to get to another question, but also let our viewers know what they can do today if they're in trouble or they're worried about someone they love. So stick around. We will be right back after a quick break. And we are back with Soba Recovery, and I wanted to get to our last viewer question here, gentlemen, and we get this question a lot. What are the common first signs of knowing you or someone you love is becoming addicted to drugs or alcohol?
Well, for me, if it is a personal thing, then it's are drugs and alcohol consistently interfering with you having a good life?
Okay.
So are they creating problems in the home, financial, at work, with the cops,
friends,
things like that,
That's
friends?
a sign.
It's a sign.
Okay.
Prescription-wise, if you're running out before your refill time, that's a really good sign.
Okay. And they seem like obvious signs to us, and they are, but I guess sometimes you don't even want to believe.
Oh, did you get a
that's what it
DUI?
is.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Multiple, very good sign.
Yeah.
Write down the 7 days of the week, and write down the 3 most common things you did on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then when you add them up, if it says drank, smoked weed, and drugs, a bunch of
and
times
they
that
have a
week,
thing
Gotcha.
too.
you got
Haven't
the
slept in a week.
If you're not sure, try to quit for 30 days.
Right.
Oh, see if you,
You
can
know,
do
somebody
it or
who
not.
doesn't have a problem can just put it down. And if you have a problem and you know, you can't put
If
it
you're
down.
doing
you
what
gotta-
Greg's
when you
doing in
call.
chapter 8 and you're cutting
Yeah.
pieces that I shouldn't.
That is when you
If
give,
you're doing that,
that's
you
when
have a problem.
That is when you give Soba a call. And so I know it's 24/7. You're always there. You're there to help. You're there to take calls. And you can call them at any point, 866-948-9014. Love these guys. Love what they're doing. You can also go to sobatexas.com.
Schedule a tour. Give us a call and schedule a tour if you're not sure.
Thanks, guys. Happy holidays. Thanks for joining us, everyone.